Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into James Clear's Atomic Habits. We're going to unlock how the absolute smallest changes, the ones that are almost invisible, can, believe it or not, lead to the most incredible results you can imagine.
Now, you might think the ideas in this book were dreamed up in some university research lab, but you'd be wrong. The entire philosophy behind Atomic Habits actually started with a single, brutal, life-changing moment.
And for the author, James Clear, that is not a metaphor. A stray baseball bat swung around and smashed directly into his face. We're talking a broken nose, multiple skull fractures, 2 shattered eye sockets. It was a complete catastrophe, and it became the unlikely spark for his entire life's work.
And his recovery? It was nothing like a Hollywood movie montage. It was just a slow, painful, and honestly a humbling slog. Months of physical therapy just to walk in a straight line again. He had seizures, vision problems, and then the final blow. He was cut from the baseball team, the one thing that had really defined who he was.
So there he is, facing this mountain of challenges. The epic comeback story he was hoping for just wasn't going to happen. He had to ask a totally different question. What is the one thing I can actually control right now? And the answer wasn't his recovery, but his tiny daily habits.
Okay, look at this list. Going to bed early? Keeping his room clean? I mean, it sounds almost silly, right? It seems to have nothing to do with becoming a star athlete. But here's the thing. These tiny little routines gave him something he desperately needed, a sense of control. They were the very first bricks he laid for what would become an unbelievable comeback.
And through that personal journey, he discovered a universal law. It's a mathematical truth, really, that secretly governs all of our progress. And this is the core engine of the whole book. The absolutely mind-blowing power of just getting 1% better.
Think about that. What if you didn't try to be amazing overnight? What if your only goal for today was to get just 1% better? It's a change so small you'd barely even notice you were doing it.
But here's where the math gets absolutely crazy. 1% better each day for a year doesn't make you 365% better. No, thanks to the magic of compounding, you end up nearly 38 times better than when you started.
And this shows you just how serious that number is. It's a double-edged sword. Make a tiny 1% improvement every day, and time becomes your greatest ally, launching you upward. But let yourself slide by just 1% each day. That choice that feels like nothing in the moment, it compounds downwards just as powerfully, making time your worst enemy as you end up with almost nothing.
And this isn't just a nice theory. It has been proven in the most competitive arenas in the world. The British cycling team used to be a total laughingstock. Then they adopted this exact idea. They improved everything by just 1%. The ergonomics of the bike seats, the grip on the tires, even the pillows the athletes use for sleeping. The result? They went from mediocrity to winning 5 Tour de France titles in 6 years. It works.
But let's be real. There's a catch, and it's a big one. For weeks, maybe even months, you're going to feel like you're spinning your wheels. You're putting in the work, but you are seeing 0 results. It's incredibly frustrating, and Clear has a name for this phase. He calls it the plateau of latent potential.
The analogy he uses here is perfect. Your effort is not being wasted, it's being stored. Think about heating an ice cube. You raise the temperature from 25 degrees to 26, 27, all the way to 31. And what happens? Absolutely nothing. It's still just a block of ice. The change only happens when you cross that critical threshold of 32 degrees. Your breakthrough is just waiting for you on the other side of that plateau.
Okay, so we get to theory. How do we actually build these habits in the real world to push through that plateau? Well, Clear gives us a super simple, really powerful 4-step manual.
Think of these 4 laws as levers you can pull. They actually map perfectly to the science of how your brain forms a habit. The cue, the craving, the response, and the reward. And get this, if you want to break a bad habit, you just invert these laws. So simple. Let's look at how a couple of them work.
The first law is all about getting rid of vagueness. So many of us say things like, I'll eat healthier. That's not a plan, that's a wish. A real plan gives your habit a specific time and a specific place to live in the world. It takes all the guesswork out of it.
Now this one is crucial.
You can't improve a habit that doesn't exist yet. That's why on day one, your goal isn't to read a book. Your goal is just to master the art of showing up. So you use what he calls the 2-minute rule. You shrink your habit until it is so laughably easy that you just can't say no. Read a book becomes read 1 page. That's it. You have to win the battle of starting.
Our brains are wired to love progress. They need to see it. There's this fantastic story about a young stockbroker who used this paperclip strategy. He started with 2 jars. One was filled with 100 paper clips, the other was empty. Every single time he made a sales call, he just moved 1 paper clip from the full jar to the empty one. He got an immediate visual reward. He could literally watch the evidence of his success pile up right in front of him.
But look, all of these tactics and strategies, they all serve a much deeper purpose. This is where we go beyond the simple life hacks and get to the real, profound heart of the book. It's about making the shift from simply doing things to becoming someone new.
And this is such a critical distinction. Most of us focus on outcomes, right? The finish line. But Clear argues that true, lasting change isn't about what you achieve, it's about who you become. The goal isn't just to write a book. The goal is to become a writer. The goal isn't to run a marathon. The goal is to become a runner.
And here's the profound truth. Your identity is not fixed. It emerges from your habits. Every single time you go for a run, you are casting a vote for I am a runner. Every time you write 1 paragraph, you cast a vote for I am a writer. Your habits are literally how you build and embody a new identity, one small vote at a time.
And that brings all of this together into one final crucial point. It's about moving from simply understanding these ideas to actually taking action, because the real secret to results that last isn't some huge dramatic leap. It's the sum of all those tiny atomic habits compounding over time that build a remarkable life. It's about never stopping the process of casting those small votes for the person you want to become. So really, the only question left to ask yourself is this: what's your first vote going to be?